something that just might surprise you. Believe it or not, our state is experiencing one of the fastest growth rates of older adults in the country. Most older adults want to age in their current home and community, and the Denver region will see a 65% increase in people over the age of 75 just in the next 10 years. Wow. Here to address how this is being approached, Brad Calvert with the Denver Regional Council of Governments, also known as DRCOG. Nice to see you, Brad.
Nice to see you.
Welcome to the show. How do you even begin to address something that sounds so overwhelming?
I think a key part is sort of understanding the magnitude of the challenge. You talked about some of the demographics. Over the last 10 years, Colorado is the fourth fastest growing state in the country in terms of population increase over the age of 65, and we actually expect those trends to actually accelerate over time. So really the question that we're asking people to think about is, how do you prepare? How do you create a community where someone that's 8 years old, someone that's 80 years old, and everyone in between can live successfully?
And how do you do that? What makes a community livable for all ages?
You know, we've thought about this a lot, and in conversations with both older adults and people that are providing care and service to these folks around the clock, it really kind of boils down to four key things: transportation and mobility, housing, community living and design, and then supportive services.
Well, let's focus on the first key one, the transportation and mobility, especially for older adults.
Big challenge. If you gathered a group of older adults together and asked them what is your sort of main challenge or concern that you have about growing older, oftentimes it's this idea of a lack of independence or becoming a burden on other people. Transportation is a really key part of that, right? You need transportation to ultimately connect with the people and the places and the services that you want to connect with each day of your life. We're fortunate in our region. We have a great public transportation system that's growing, but other localized transportation options are needed as well. There's a great example down in Inglewood where RTD and the city have partnered together to create a shuttle service that connects older adults to the Civic Center in Inglewood, downtown businesses, and to the medical facilities.
Wonderful. Housing can also be a big issue and problem with aging adults.
Absolutely, and frankly, I wish the news was better on that. It really is emerging as kind of maybe the key barrier to creating livable places for older adults these days. Housing is one of the things that obviously everyone needs. Older adults face some very specific challenges when it comes to housing. Number one is they transition from sort of their working years to a fixed income. Can they afford their home? You know, can their home adapt with them as their physical characteristics change? And if the answer to that question is no, then what options are there in their community? And really over the past couple of years, that issue of affordability has really kind of risen to the top. Not really surprising given what's happened with home prices and rents around the region, but increasingly day in and day out, we are getting calls from older adults that simply are struggling to make ends meet, right?
And then finding a home that's actually in their price range but livable, like you said, so they can have access if they're using a walker or if they're in a wheelchair. You know, stairs can be an issue for older adults.
Even with people with means, they oftentimes struggle finding that home in the community, their community of choice, right? Most older adults in our region have lived in their city or town for 20 years or more, and they want to stay there, right? But their house may no longer meet their needs, so they've got to figure out how to transition to that new home that will meet their needs.
And with the surveys and the research that you've been doing, how do Coloradans feel about being informed with the services?
I wish the news was better there as well. You know, we're blessed as a region. We have actually a lot of service providers, a lot of services available to older adults. But one of the things that we struggle with is they simply oftentimes feel uninformed about the services that are out there. In the most recent survey that we did, we survey older adults about every 4 years. About 50% really just weren't even aware of the services that were available to them. And so that's certainly something that we work with older adults and their caregivers to walk them through services and programs that are available so that they can match needs with those programs.
You can log on right now if you'd like to find out more information. The bottom of the screen, there's the website, DRCOG.org. It's DRCOG.org. A phone number to call, too, is also on the bottom of the screen, 303-480-6700. Another aspect that you have to look at is the communication, so they don't feel isolated as they mature.
Yeah, that's a big piece. We think of it as sort of civic engagement and social interaction. You mentioned a survey that we've completed. 3/4 of older adults that responded to that survey said they wanted to be more engaged in their community. They really want to give back. The problem is that in many ways what volunteering means and what retirement means is changing before our eyes, and our cities, our state is having trouble keeping up with making sure we can take advantage of that resource that comes with the wisdom of older adults.
And finally, really important, medical assistance within a livable community.
Absolutely. I mean, oftentimes it simply comes down to access. If you cannot make that trip to the doctor or to an appointment, you're going to struggle getting the care that you need. So that's something that we absolutely focus on, is making sure people simply can access the medical services that they need.
Well, that's what this show is all about, Colorado and Company, and highlighting all the important information. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Again, Denver Regional Council of Government strives to make life better. For more information, please go to their website, drcog.org. That's drcog.org. You can also call 303-480-6700. That's 303-480-6700. You and your loved ones can take advantages of services that helps to make communities more livable and, of course, more enjoyable.